Hey there, Mike Barbanica, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Antioch. Recently, hopefully you've watched part one and part two of this. We've heard the mayor talk about that this is a national issue. We're not, again, experiencing this any more than any other agency in the United States. And I'm going to keep driving this point home. Right next door, Pittsburgh PD, who pays less, is one over on their hiring. In other words, they're full of cops and they have one extra. Soon as their three graduate the academy that they have right now, one extra. We went from 121 under Chief Brooks. We're allotted 115, could hire over to 121. At one point, 121 is where we were at. Now we're at 102, 24 out on different, injuries, different types of leaves. 2 yesterday got sworn in with San Jose PD. 1 in background with another, 3 in background with another PD, and another one starting at another local police department, I'm told, by the end of this month. This just isn't the national problem. This is a problem right here. Since December 2020, these cops have felt as though they were not supported by the majority of this council. So let's go on to the next item. Emergency Operations Center. This has come up in front of council 2 times. Are you aware that if we have a major emergency in this community, that we have to do what's called stand up our Emergency Operations Center? And it's not just a violent act that it could be. It could also be, let's say, flooding, let's say major fire. There's all kinds of things that this would come into play. Ours is outdated. The police department has asked multiple times, please help us bring up new technology. It was like 300 grand, I believe is what it was. It's come in front of council twice. Mayor Thorpe voted no. Councilmember Wilson voted no. Councilmember Walker, Torres Walker, voted no. I voted yes. Councilmember Orgachuk voted yes. Twice this has occurred. And we're wondering why these officers are feeling not supported. Really? The Emergency Operations Center? That's how we're not, but we can spend money on all of these other things within the community, which are important, don't get me wrong, but an EOC is massively important. What some don't understand is there's federal guidelines that if we don't run a disaster correctly, that we actually can be denied federal reimbursement. So what are we doing? Again, 3-2 vote, voted no. I'm just kind of glancing down at some notes here. I've talked about other things that we have had within the city that have occurred that have been really, really disturbing. And I've talked about who has voted which way. But let's stop kidding ourselves and saying, oh, this is some national problem. This is a local problem. And the local problem has gotten worse and worse since December 2020. We have continually lost officers month after month, lost officers, had officers applying elsewhere, had officers retiring and saying, I'm going and doing something else. I've talked to these officers. I've met with them. I've had coffee with them. They are not feeling supported, just the opposite of that. And these that I'm telling you about are some of the examples that they've given me, just some of the examples of what is going on. You as a community need to be aware of this, of how these votes are going, because I understand people don't watch all the council meetings. I get it. They're long. I totally understand that. But you as a community need to know who is voting which way to support this police department and why we are losing these officers. And I'll debate it all day long if somebody's saying, oh, it's a national trend. No, it's not. I'm not saying there isn't a trend. But what I'm saying is, do you really believe that we're experiencing this any more than any other agency that's out there? In addition to that, I go right back to Pittsburgh PD right next door, full +1, pays less. Why do we pay so much more and we can't keep cops? Why? Since December 2020, you have your answer. Go back and look at council meetings. They're all online. You can see the votes. You can see who voted which way and why these officers are feeling this way. The mayor could put an end to this at any time. He could put vehicles on the agenda Tuesday night. He could put the EOC on the agenda and support these. He could put tasers on the agenda. And all 5 council members hopefully could support these things. But that's not the case. And you as a community need to know that. Mike Barbanica, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Antioch.